Welcome everyone to the first lesson of the PSA School. This first lesson, can all of you hear me right now? Alright, is it too loud, too quiet? Alright, let's begin. This is only just a lesson at the moment. The following programs will be Brawlbox version 0.71. This will be the primary program to use for adding new graphic effects and animation, and also model importing and that sort of stuff. Brawlbox version 0.68b will be used for editing various characters, their movesets. Project Smash attacks will be used for characters that can't be edited with Brawlbox version 0.68b, like Yoshi, Samus, Bowser. Yes, version 2.70 is the latest version of PSA. Taboo Alpha 3 is the program you'll be using for various hexing, well, pseudo-hexing, like bone indexes. You'll also need a hexing program for custom bone sets on characters that won't work with Brawlbox. HXD is an example. Article floating point editor is used for characters, well, for the article floating points of various characters. And for all of these, I'll just be showing mere examples. Actually, no need for examples. I'm going to need to go back to my thread since lessons 1 and 2 will be in. Yes, lesson 2, adding new GFX to a character. Article floating points are certain variables that characters use for certain moves and articles. Like Mario's Fireball, floating points would be the gravity, the velocity, that sort of stuff. Alright, now one of the lessons today will be adding new GFX to a character. For this case, I'll be using Mario for an example. I'll be showing you how to basically do this with a PSA and Brawlbox, since basically one uses hex, one uses decimal. Actually, in order to add a new GFX accordingly, you'll need to open your character's moveset file in version 0.71. Also, regardless, even if it's a fresh file, always make a backup. Backups are really important, just in case if you screw up on something. I'm only using Mario for this example. Let's see. Alright, as you can see here in the EFLS, yes, the fit character file. Alright. I'll make the focus on the program. Now, like, for example, let's say you want to put, let's see, add-on Lucario's aura sphere for whatever reason. You'll need to, maybe not the EFLS. First of all, if the model has, not a model, if the GFX uses a model, you'll need to figure out which one it uses. In Lucario's case, it's Hadoan, whatever it's pronounced. If it's a model, you'll export it along with its textures. Also, if you don't know what textures the model uses, just open up the MDL0 and take a look at what textures it uses. If your GFX uses a model, export the model data. Like in my example, export the model data since it has the models and the animation and that sort of stuff. And you'll also need to export the corresponding textures. And also that might not be enough as well, since the GFX will also use ref. It might also sometimes use ref. Am I going too fast? Mario's fireball is in his motion etc. file. Mario's fireball is in his motion file. Some articles use models that are in the motion file. Now, this isn't replacing models, this is only adding GFX models. You don't need to follow along, all you need to do is just watch what's going on. And like I said earlier, you'll need to figure out which file index your model uses. The model you're exporting. In this case, it's model data 2. Then you'll need to go up to the EFLS, take a look until you see which EFLS uses the Brez ID. And in this case, it's PTC Lucario Hadoan. For that, you'll need to scroll down until you find PTC Lucario go in. Let's see. Yeah. Right here. Then you'll export everything. I mean, export the PTC and the relating effects. And also, you're gonna want to look into the PTC and the ref itself for name table. Take a look at that and make sure you export the corresponding effects. And take a look into everything else as well, just in case. But if it has a PTC CMN in it, you don't need to find that, since that's in the common 3-dot pack, which is universal. Oh, also in this case, you see here, PTC Lucario Thunder 1, 2, and 3. That will be in the REFT. You'll need to export these as well. Now, some characters might have ref and reft attached, and some characters might not. Now, everything is exported, so you'll no longer need it. No, since some of it might have textures that are not related. Right, now in Mario's file, now since it doesn't have a model, you'll need to import the Brez pack. And since there is nothing in there, it'll rename itself to 0. But it's not going to work until you make it model data. And since it also doesn't have any textures, you'll need to make a new one and use that for texture. And then import the EFF, the textures here. If it has PTC in it, it's not texture data, it's REFT. Keep an eye on the format. Make sure it's the same format as the other textures it uses, or else there will be issues. Alright, now you'll do the same thing in the REFT folder. Remember, compare and make sure. now you're going to need to add in the ref, and since we exported 2, 3, 4, you'll need to make 4 new ones. Make sure you always have the main PTC at top. Sorry about that. Make sure you replace and rename after so you don't lose track. Whoops, forgot to copy the name. Alright, and the second to last thing you need to do is add a new entry. I think the name doesn't matter, but make the name match the new PTC anyway. I'm not sure it matters, but do it to be safe anyway. And also, this is also important. Make sure the Brez, if it uses a model, set use Brez to true. If it doesn't, then set it to false. But in this case, it does use a model, so set it to true. And make sure the Brez ID is the same as the model data you're using. So in this case, it's model data 0. The Brez ID would also be model data 0. I'm not sure what the unknown does, so just leave that alone for now. And now you have everything set in your files, so now you'll save. Also, keep an eye on your file size. The file size is important as well. You gotta keep it under the limit. Some GFX will increase it by a lot. Some GFX will decrease it. Actually, no. Unless if you delete something, it will only increase. Now, in this case, I'll make a copy. Now, since you don't need Lucario's thing anymore, you can just close that. And you'll also need to know your character's external GFX ID, and also the GFX ID it comes with. In Mario's case, it's file 1. Every character has their own limit. Some characters have higher limits, some characters have lower limits, like Samus, for example. Characters that share a module like Samus and Zero Suit Samus, Ivysaur, Charizard, Squirtle, Zelda, and Sheik. Those characters usually have low limits. Characters that are on their own usually have higher limits. Certain characters have higher limits than others, like Link. He can go up to like 524 kilobytes. Alloys I haven't experimented with alloys. And also, back to the GFX. Your newest GFX will be the one right after the last one. This is Hex, so if you're using Hex, the new GFX will be 0C if you're using PSA. If you're using Brawlbox, let's see, 10, 11... The new GFX will be 12. And also, check it, since your stuff is there. Now, this is Brawlbox at the moment, since Mario does work with Brawlbox. Mario has been... Mario is very basic at this time. So like example, let's put the new GFX on his neutral attack. Alright, in this case, you're going to want to add since it's an external graphic effect, there's more than one. The one you would usually use is this one, I think. 11010A00. Now this is in here. Alright, this GFX file, since it has a drop down, just use Mario, since this is Mario. And remember, let's see, in hex, A is 10, B is 11. So in this case, our new GFX effect will be 12. And make sure the scale is higher than 0. Like, if you want a really small effect, you can, like, put 0.05. But usually, basically all GFX is normally 1. And if it's too big, you can always make it smaller. In this case, I'll put in, like, 1.5. And also, this is also important. Terminate with animation. Value fault. If the value is set to false, then the the effect will not terminate once the animation ends. So, like if you have a fire streak that for flashiness, and you don't want it to end on the animation end, you'll set that value to false. But some animations have a loop that you'll need to manually put in an effect. I'll get to that later. But for now, we'll put that value to true, so that it will disappear when the animation ends. And also, if you do want to put the... Sorry. That was my cat. He's old. He's old and very mouthy. Yeah, he's a big mouth. Tigger. Alright, now back here. If you want to attach it to a bone, let's see. Let's just copy his files into this folder, so you won't have to go back again. Like if you're not editing the file, just copy and paste the fit pack, since you're not editing the model, the fit00.pack, and also the motion file as well. For example, right here, every single character's 0 bone is their top N. That goes with every single character. Now, let's say you want to put the aura sphere on Mario's head N bone, for whatever reason. Look until you find the bone you want, right click it, for its bone index, which is 39. In Brawl Box, you'll just use 39, since that's its bone. Though if you're using PSA, then you'll need to convert it to hex. Oh, whoops. If you're using PSA, you'll need to convert it into hex. Bone 39. Yeah, Windows Calculator is recommended. And all you need to do is just hex. So Mario's head and bone on PSA will be 27. In Brawl Box, it'll be 39. Right, I should move some of this stuff out of here. And now you have that in, you can go ahead and save. Make sure you have that back up. Now, since I have Dolphin, I can just show you the result. Oh yeah, oops. I forgot I had my Project M Mario for V-Brawl in here, so I'm just gonna extract them to my desktop. And I can just delete them. Alright, things might get a bit laggy. No, I don't use Seebless, I use Brawl EX. Alright, things might get a bit laggy since Dolphin does use a lot of CPU. And as you can see, it works. Yeah, I said it was going to lag, Kitsu. Alright, I'll just show it in-game. As you can see, the new graphic effect has been added. Alright, is there anything up? Oops. Alright, sorry, I have a cheap microphone. It's one of those stand-up microphones, so sorry. Alright, let's see. There is still some time left, so let's see. Custom model changer. Shoot, I meant to put that later since that requires model editing. But I'll do a basic attack porting next. Sword trails, no, it doesn't work with sword trails. Spawn a graphic and have it hang around the stage. Like, you want to have a GFX just stay there after a character uses it? Is that what you mean, Gamma? Let's see, with the external GFX command that I'm using, the terminate with animation false will just have it stick to Mario's head forever until you terminate it. In this case, what you'll need to do, I think it's one of the external graphic effect commands. I think it's the first one. That's no, it's not this one. It'll be this one, I think. The one that'll stick there. I think the first one is the one that makes it just sit behind. Sword trails are completely different. You can't add a sword trail. And let's see, and what I meant with model changes was stuff that I use with my solo Charizard. I'll show you what I mean. See, in a normal character that uses model changers, all the models are in one file. But with certain bones, you can set the visibility of a certain model. But you'll also have to, and if it's a custom one, you'll need to manually change that in your character's moveset file. The character will have various defaults and that sort of stuff. Yeah, basically. Model changers is also a big thing Mario DK used for his Goku PSA. And also his Super Mario Bros. Z Mario as well. Right, and now see, we have like maybe half an hour or so left. Now we'll go on to basic attack porting. Like, if you want to, like, let's say, for whatever reason, put, let's see, like Ganondorf's Spartan kick over onto Mario. What you'll need to do is open up your character's fit pack. Not fit pack, their model file. Open that up. No, again, this might be a little laggy again. For this, you'll need to find the character you want. You'll need to open up that character's motion file. And now since his Spartan kick is Ganondorf's side tilt, that would be attack S3S. Now, as you can see here, this is Mario's bone set with Ganondorf's bone translations. What you'll need to do go to your character's frame 0. Under the transform all, make sure rotation is, not rotation, trans is only selected, and click copy. Then on the transform frame, make sure trans is only selected as well. Go to frame 1, go to the hip end bone, and copy the hip. And also, like beforehand, make sure your character doesn't use the X rotation N all out through the animation, because they might use the X and Y throughout the animation. And after that, make sure you have that copied. Make sure you have this copied. Now, paste the transform all before pasting the hip. And as you can see, Ganondorf side tilt animation is now accustomed to Mario's bones. But, as you can see here, his feet are in the ground due to the different areas. And also, sometimes, like, let's see. Well, in this case, there is no rotations. Alright, now, like, for example, let's see, like, if you want to just for the sole purpose of just porting the attack without doing any hard editing, you could, there is time. I can go around and play around with the hip end. Oh, also, right now, since it uses Ganondorf's idle pose at the end, it'll transition in-game back into your character's idle. But results may vary, so you might want to have the normal character's idle at the end. But right now, I'm not going to mess with the hip end at the moment. So, yeah. And after you have that done, you'll export. And don't save the changes since it was from the original file. Alright, now in your character's file, you'll go to the same attack S3S, and replace. Oh yeah, also, some characters might have the ability to angle their tilts. Some characters have the ability to angle their tilts like Mario does, while Ganondorf doesn't. What you would do in that case is open up your moveset file, make sure these two sub-actions are named attack S3S. But if the character can angle, then just leave it be. And as you can see here, the flags uses the moves character option. Use that if your character's move uses the trans N bone. In this case, Mario. In this case, Ganondorf's side tilt does not use the trans N. So make sure the flag is set to none. Alright, now you'll get to the timers and the hitboxes. Alright, is there anything you'd like me to go back over before I move on? Have I been going too fast? Alright, that seems like a no. I'll go on. Now, in this case, since you're going to be porting an attack, you'll need to go into your root, the character you're basing your move off of, like Ganondorf side tilt. Now since this is Brawl Box, you can just easily copy and paste. But it's not easy as just copy and pasting. So yeah, that's Ganondorf, this is Mario. Now you'll see what I do after. But if a graphic effect or a hitbox isn't on a bone, like this for example, you don't need to do anything to it other than copy and paste. But here, this is different. Characters have their own sound effects. So like, for example, if you were to just copy and paste this into here, you wouldn't hear the sound effects unless Ganondorf was in the game with you. So in that case, you would need to do your own thing. Use common GFX, use common SFX or SFX that your character uses. You'll also need to change the timer to match as well. Now, before I go on to this, you'll need to make sure you have go-tos in here. What confused you? Oh, sorry. One character's sound effects will not work on another's. Like, if you wanted to put Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch voice, like, and just basically copy and paste, that your character will not play his Falcon Punch sound unless Captain Falcon himself is in-game with your character. Alright, now on to the go-tos. I'll cover go-tos in PSA as well. But first we're going to use Brawl Box. Alright, make sure in Brawl Box they go to, but like for example here, they're completely different. So in that case, you'd want to just copy, remove, paste. But you see here, SFX, offset, type. Make sure you go into other. Oh yeah, custom sounds, I might cover that later if enough people want it. Alright, now here, character's bone. Now, this is just straight up copied. Then now here, you don't need that anymore. Now you must open the character that you copied the move from. Look at their bones. And since this move uses bones 6 and 9, you'll look at the bone indexes until you find the correct one. Like in this case, bone 6 for Ganondorf is his hip N. Mario's 6th bone is hair MB. So instead of his hip, it would just go straight down to this area, unless you make it match Mario's hip N, which is bone 10. And then bone 9 for Ganondorf is his knee, left knee. Mario's 9th bone is Y rotation N. You'll need to make his bone index match as well, since Mario's left knee is bone 12. Okay, and also, this is also important as well. If you have two instances of Brawlbox open, and you copy something from the base to the one you're editing, make sure you close the base before you save, or else that might cause issues with your file. And then what Brawlbox 0.68b has, you can load your moveset, look at your character's hitboxes and that stuff. But what we want to do is take a look at the character's new hitboxes on this attack. Gotta make sure, like in this instance, the hitboxes are all cluttered up. I mean, not cluttered, just all packed together and don't really match Mario well. But I'll go into that after I show the... Actually, no, I can go into that now. So what you can do here is... Oh yeah, like if your character can't be edited in Brawlbox, you can put them up side by side, PSA and Brawlbox. I'll go into that later as well. But for this instance, I won't make any of these changes yet. This is only just for purposes at the moment. But for now, I'll just edit these to properly match Mario's anatomy. Now that looks better. And after editing your moveset, just to be safe, just close out of your Brawlbox in general. 3 hitboxes, because Ganondorf's side tilt has 3 hitboxes. Some characters, I mean, every single attack has different amounts of hitboxes. Some attacks might have 2 hitboxes, some attacks might have 1, some attacks might have 4. That sort of stuff. This applies to all characters. Now, I'll go ahead and show you that in game. I don't think there's ever going to be any moves that need 20 hitboxes. I think the highest hitbox amount that any character has used, I think, is either 4 or 5. I think I think you can only really have up to, I think, 10 hitboxes max before new hitboxes won't work. And also for articles, hang on. And for articles, that amount of hitboxes is short as well. But now let's see the new ported moves that work. Alright. Subroutines, I'll go into that later as well, but just not for today's lesson. Remember, let's see, floor clipping is usually experienced by the hip and the leg bones. I'll go into that animation stuff when I get to animation. Alright, and like for the remaining 8 minutes, I can show you how to like edit the flags, the knockback, and the damage and other stuff in the hitboxes as well. So let's say you want the very end of Mario's foot for this new side to have a fire effect with an electric sound effect. So yeah, you'll need to find out which hitbox is the furthest out, since in this case it would be the sweet spot. Now, with the flags, and if you're using PSA and Brawlbox, you can just straight up copy the flag that's from here, from Brawlbox into PSA, and vice versa. Now for here, in this case, aerial means that the move will hit foes in the air. So if it's true, it'll hit airborne foes. If set to false, the hitbox will only hit grounded foes. Clang, like priority and stuff. If set to true, it will power through moves that do it'll power moves that do less than, let's see, 8 damage, like for example 13 damage. If move that does less than 5 damage goes against this move that does 13 damage, it'll power right through. But if it does more than 5 but less than 13, they'll clang, and it keeps going up. If for example, like this move versus Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch, Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch will power through this move since it does more than 8 damage difference. But that's not what we're at right now. So if you want the move to clang with hitboxes, set it to true. Direct is like direct is like for subspace and that sort of stuff, like a direct special, like Mari, like Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch again, Ganondorf's Warlock Punch. The direct, set the direct to true if your character is using like a kicking attack, a tail whip, a bite, a headbutt, etc. The effect is currently set to normal, and since this is Brawlbox, you can just drop down. Slash is used for swords. Normal is used for kicks, punches, tail whips, and headbutts. Electric is used with a lot of Pikachu's attacks. Freezing is used with the Ice Climbers, neutral special, and their down special. Flame is used for fire-based attacks. Coin is used for Mario's up special and Luigi's sour spot. Reverse is Mario's cape. Slip is tripping, like Now, in this case, there's two different flags. The tripping rate, here, at this case, you'll need to use a decimal amount. Like, if you want your none, it's like what it says, nothing. Reverse, if it hits your target will switch its direction. Mario's cape, yeah. And the tripping rate, if you want your character's move to like 100%, set the value to 1. But like, let's say you want your character's sweet spot or any other move to trip the foe like 50%, you do 0.5. Now 1.5 on the tripping rate would make it 150%. Right, the hit lag multiplier. The more hit lag, the more like stay in place both characters will stay in. Like Wolf side tilt, that has a hit lag I think of 1.5, so it stays there longer than normal. Directional influence, for most single hit attacks, this is set to 1. Directional influence, directional influence is basically a lot of competitive stuff. That sort of MLG Pro, Wombo Combo, No Scope, that sort of stuff. Trajectory is the direction the target gets launched. So in this case, the value is 22. So the character will, so the opponent. Oh yes, this works with multi-hit attacks as well. But if you want your character to not be able to DI out of a multi-hit attack, you can just set it at 0. Now for trajectory, again, 22. Now for example, let's have the sweet spot send at a 45-degree angle. Let's see. 42 what? Alright, for here, this is the base knockback. Refresh the page. Alright, wait, you're not getting any feed? Alright, good one. Alright, we're at the final minute, so I'm gonna wrap things up. Base knockback, actually, I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into it. All I know is just they're related to how far your foe is struck. I mean, how far your foe goes when your attack hits. And also, hit lag, base knockback, and knockback growth do scale with trajectory and damage. Oh, the value 1 is shield damage. Like, you want the hitbox to do a good amount of shield damage, you'll put in a value. Value 1 for weight knockback, it will be your character won't ever KO with the attack. So if you want your character to have a KO move, leave this alone, but edit this. Since that's the knockback growth, it scales based on your opponent's damage. Values can go way higher than just 99. Some characters have a knockback growth value of 120, or maybe I think I've seen some characters with 115, 110, around there. The size of the hitbox, of course, is self-explanatory. X, Y, Z offsets, those are also self-explanatory. Tripping right, I just said. Hit lag, I said. Alright, and now back to flags. Effect, normal. Coin, reverse, slip, sleep is like Jigglypuff's sing. Bury is Donkey Kong's side special. Stun is like Deku Seed's stun. Mewtwo's disable. Flower is from the lipstick. Flower on your head, you take damage. I'm not really sure what like the effect 10, effect 13 this stuff does. I don't know. Grass is basically just another slash, just what Ivysaur uses. Water, I haven't played around with that. Darkness is what Ganondorf uses for his side special, down special, and neutral special. Paralyze is what Zero Suit Samus uses for her Paralyzer and her down smash. Aura is what Lucario uses for the majority of his attacks. Plunge. Plunge is like the pitfall. If you're like standing on a ledge that you can drop through, and if you're hit by it, you'll just drop through the ledge. But otherwise, you'll be buried. Down is Snake's down throw. Flinchless is like Fox's neutral special, his gun. Like flame. Oh yeah, something to take note. Any attack that has the flame effect on it will automatically set off a blast box item. Right, and for grounded, it's just like aerial except on the ground. If it's set to true, you can hit grounded foes. If it's at the false, you can't hit grounded foes. Now this sound, that's also different. I mean the sound, these are all, you don't bother with the SFX3 unique, that sort of stuff. Let's say you wanted to have a magic zap attack. You'd go down until you see the one you want. Like, strong magic zap, for example. And the type, this is also used by subspace. Like, if your character uses a foot attack, you'd set the type to foot. If it's like a projectile, like Lucario's Aura Sphere, you'd set it to typeless. Explosive would be bombs. Spin would be Kirby's neutral air, like for example. Bite would be Wario's neutral special. Magic would be like Peach's up tilt, a few of Zelda's attacks. Knee would be Captain Falcon's Knee of Justice. Elbow would be like Ganondorf and Captain Falcon's side smash, and everything is just pretty self-explanatory. I'm not sure what these unknowns do, so just leave that alone. So let's say you want to like keep the damage, change the sweet spot to 45 and have it there. Oh yeah, also with damage, you can set it the minimum is 0, the maximum is 999. So we can just save. Oh yeah, also async time is 9. Well, just an example. Async time is like the exact frame. Like, let's say your character has a 50 frame animation, and the hitbox starts at like frame 12. Like, the animation itself, like the fist is, and the arm is fully outstretched on frame 12. In that case, you would set the async timer to frame 11. And then the synchronous timers, I can't pronounce that. And then the terminate collisions. like the sync timer, that will last. The hitbox will last 3 frames after frame 9. But like if you want to like really be specific, you can just change it to async and change it to 12. Terminate collisions terminates all the collisions before the command. And allow interrupt is self-explanatory, allows your character to interrupt. Now you save. And I'll show you the result in game before I close down the stream for today. Tomorrow, let's see. Tomorrow, alongside basic custom attacks, like a basic custom animation. I'll go into specials, custom attacks, special offensive collisions, and pseudo projectiles. Alright, and after this. Now again, it's going to be a little laggy. Transforming, well, pseudo-transforming, since you can't really like transform into another character. That will be covered a bit later, since that's more advanced. I'm starting off with the easy stuff and then going later into the hard stuff. The sour spot, and now, whoops. And like I said before, any attack set it off automatically. Alright, and I think that's enough for today. Any questions before I shut down the stream for today? And any questions before I shut down the stream? Yes, this will be archived. Yes. Alright, no problem. Alright, and I will be closing the stream again. I mean, stream now. See you guys tomorrow. You're very welcome. The next lesson will be showing custom attacks and custom specials. If you have any additional questions, you can just ask me on my thread. Either on this thread, my PSA School thread. Alright, and for now, see you.